Stephen Colbert is about to deliver the final week of The Late Show, and the newly revealed guest lineup has turned what was already an emotional farewell into one of the most anticipated moments in television this year. After more than a decade as host and more than 3 decades of The Late Show as a franchise, the curtain is preparing to fall on one of the most iconic institutions in late-night history. What began with David Letterman in 1993 and was reinvented by Stephen Colbert in 2015 is now coming to an end, and the list of stars joining Colbert for his final episodes is nothing short of extraordinary. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. For millions of viewers, Stephen Colbert has been more than just a comedian sitting behind a desk. He has been a nightly companion, a sharp political satirist, a thoughtful interviewer, and a reassuring voice during some of the most chaotic years in recent memory. From presidential elections and global crises to cultural milestones and unforgettable celebrity interviews, Colbert has shaped the way audiences experienced the world. And now, as he prepares to say goodbye, the final guest lineup reads like a love letter to his career. CBS has confirmed that Jon Stewart, Steven Spielberg, David Byrne, and Bruce Springsteen will appear during Colbert's final week. Each guest carries enormous symbolic weight. Each one represents a different side of Colbert's journey, from his roots in political comedy to his passion for storytelling and music. And perhaps most intriguing of all, the network has kept the guest for the final episode itself a secret, fueling intense speculation that some of the biggest surprises are still to come. The farewell begins with a special retrospective episode titled The Worst of the Late Show. The title is a joke in classic Colbert style, poking fun at the idea that viewers are about to revisit the most ridiculous and chaotic moments from the show's 11-year run. Fans are expecting a mixture of bloopers, outrageous sketches, unforgettable interviews, and perhaps emotional reflections from Colbert himself. It is likely to be a celebration of the absurdity and brilliance that made the show unique. For longtime viewers, this retrospective will be packed with memories. They will remember Colbert grilling celebrities with his bizarre and hilarious questionnaire, testing their personalities with questions like, "What is the best sandwich?" and "Have you ever asked someone for their autograph?" They will remember musical performances that became instant classics, monologues that went viral, and satirical segments that perfectly captured the mood of the nation. The retrospective is expected to remind audiences just how much ground Colbert covered during his remarkable tenure. The next night brings one of the most meaningful reunions imaginable. Jon Stewart, the man who helped launch Colbert into stardom, will sit beside him once again. To understand the emotional impact of this appearance, it is important to revisit their shared history. Before Stephen Colbert became a household name, he was one of the standout correspondents on The Daily Show. Under Jon Stewart's guidance, Colbert developed the satirical voice that would later define The Colbert Report, the groundbreaking Comedy Central series that turned him into a cultural phenomenon. Stewart was not only a boss, but also a mentor and close friend. Their chemistry was legendary, and their combined influence transformed political comedy. When Colbert was chosen to succeed David Letterman, Stewart was one of the first to celebrate the decision. He recognized that Colbert possessed the intelligence, wit, and emotional depth necessary to thrive on network television. Over the years, Stewart and Colbert continued to support one another, appearing on each other's shows and speaking openly about their friendship. Their reunion during Colbert's final week is expected to be both hilarious and deeply moving. Fans anticipate stories from their early days, reflections on how comedy evolved, and perhaps an emotional acknowledgement of the journey they took together. For many viewers, seeing Jon Stewart beside Stephen Colbert in these final days will feel like a closing of a perfect circle. Joining Stewart on that same episode will be Steven Spielberg, one of the most celebrated filmmakers in history. Spielberg's presence underscores Colbert's reputation as an interviewer capable of attracting the biggest names in the world. Over the years, Colbert has spoken with presidents, Nobel Prize winners, astronauts, authors, and Hollywood legends. Spielberg represents the highest level of artistic achievement and cultural impact, and his inclusion in the farewell week signals just how much respect Colbert commands. Spielberg and Colbert have shared engaging conversations in the past, often discussing music, imagination, and the power of movies to shape our understanding of the world. Colbert's own love of narrative and fantasy has made him an ideal conversation partner for directors like Spielberg. Their final interview together is likely to blend humor with thoughtful discussion about creativity, legacy, and the importance of storytelling. As if that were not enough, David Byrne will also appear during the week. The Talking Heads frontman is known for his artistic innovation and unique stage presence. Byrne's appearances on Colbert's show have often been delightfully unconventional, reflecting the host's appreciation for eccentric and intellectually stimulating performers. Byrne's involvement suggests that the farewell will celebrate not only mainstream fame, but also the kind of imaginative artistry that Colbert has consistently championed. Then comes Bruce Springsteen, one of America's most iconic musicians. The announcement of Bruce Springsteen's appearance instantly electrified fans. Known as the Boss, Springsteen has built a career on songs about hope, struggle, resilience, and the American experience. His music carries emotional weight that feels perfectly suited for Colbert's final week. Springsteen and Colbert have shared memorable conversations over the years, discussing music, family, faith, and personal growth. Their connection is genuine, and Springsteen's performance is expected to be one of the most poignant moments of the farewell. Whether he chooses a reflective ballad or an uplifting anthem, his appearance will almost certainly leave audiences emotional. The mystery surrounding the final episode itself has become one of the biggest talking points online. CBS has refused to reveal who will join Colbert on the last night, leading to a flood of speculation. Could David Letterman return to officially pass the torch back one final time? Could former President Barack Obama, one of Colbert's most memorable guests, make a surprise appearance? Could celebrities such as Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, George Clooney, or Paul McCartney walk onto the stage unexpectedly? Many fans believe the final episode will feature a parade of surprise guests, each offering brief tributes and stories. Others suspect that Colbert may choose a more intimate farewell, focusing less on spectacle and more on gratitude. Whatever happens, the secrecy has ensured that millions of viewers will tune in to witness television history. To appreciate why this farewell matters so much, it helps to look back at Colbert's remarkable path. Stephen Colbert was born in Washington, D.C. and raised in South Carolina. He studied theater at Northwestern University and began his comedy career with the legendary Second City in Chicago. Early work on sketch shows and improvisational performances showcased his intelligence and razor-sharp timing, but it was The Daily Show that made him a national figure. On The Colbert Report, Colbert portrayed a pompous, hyper-patriotic pundit, satirizing cable news personalities with uncanny precision. The show became one of the most acclaimed comedy programs of its era, earning multiple Emmy Awards and a fiercely loyal fan base. Many doubted whether Colbert could transition from his satirical character to a more authentic persona on mainstream television. When he debuted as host of The Late Show in September 2015, he faced enormous pressure. David Letterman had defined the franchise for more than 20 years, and the expectations were sky high. Early episodes demonstrated that Colbert was still finding his footing, balancing his intellectual humor with the broader appeal required by network television. Then came the 2016 election, which transformed late-night comedy. Colbert's sharp monologues resonated with viewers seeking both laughter and catharsis. Ratings surged, and The Late Show rose to the top of the late-night rankings. Colbert had not only succeeded Letterman, he had reinvented the format for a new era. Over the next decade, Colbert became known for his ability to pivot seamlessly between satire and sincerity. One night he might deliver a blistering political monologue, and the next he might have a heartfelt conversation about grief, faith, or parenthood. This emotional authenticity set him apart from many of his peers. His interviews became legendary. He could trade jokes with movie stars, challenge politicians, and connect deeply with authors and activists. Guests often remarked that Colbert was unusually prepared and genuinely curious. He was not merely filling airtime, he was creating meaningful conversations. Colbert's personal story added depth to his public persona. He has spoken openly about losing his father and two brothers in a plane crash when he was a child, and about how faith and family helped him navigate tragedy. These experiences gave him a perspective that resonated with audiences. Beneath the wit was a host capable of profound empathy. The Late Show also showcased Colbert's enthusiasm for literature, science, history, and fantasy. His love of J.R.R. Tolkien became famous, delighting fans who shared his passions. Whether discussing astrophysics with Neil deGrasse Tyson or debating Middle-earth lore with actors from The Lord of the Rings, Colbert embraced curiosity in a way that felt authentic and infectious. The announcement that CBS would end The Late Show stunned viewers. Although late-night television has faced significant economic challenges as audiences migrate to streaming and social media, many believed Colbert would continue for years. The show remained culturally influential, and his interviews regularly generated viral clips. CBS stated that the decision was financial, citing the changing media landscape and the high cost of producing a nightly network talk show. Reports suggested that despite solid ratings, the economics of traditional late-night programming had become increasingly difficult. Advertising revenues were under pressure, and younger viewers consumed highlights online rather than watching full broadcasts. Still, the explanation did not satisfy everyone. Fans, commentators, and some industry insiders questioned whether broader corporate and political dynamics played a role. Speculation intensified across social media, but no definitive evidence emerged to contradict the official rationale. What remained undeniable was the emotional impact of the decision. Colbert addressed the cancellation with his characteristic blend of humor and candor. He joked about the uncertainty of his future while expressing gratitude for the extraordinary opportunity he had enjoyed. He thanked the audience, his staff, and the countless guests who had shared the stage with him. Those staff members are a crucial part of the story. Producing a nightly talk show requires writers, researchers, producers, camera operators, musicians, and technicians working in perfect coordination. Colbert has frequently praised his team, emphasizing that The Late Show was a collective achievement. His farewell is therefore not only a goodbye to viewers, but also a tribute to the people behind the scenes. The show's house band, now led by Louis Cato, has been another essential ingredient. Musical transitions, comedic cues, and memorable performances all depended on the band's talent. In these final episodes, viewers expect special attention to the musicians who helped define the show's energy. The Ed Sullivan Theater itself adds another layer of emotion. Located in the heart of Manhattan, the theater has hosted decades of entertainment history. David Letterman turned it into a late-night landmark, and Colbert infused it with his own personality. For fans, the building symbolizes continuity and tradition. Watching the lights go out there one final time will be profoundly moving. Recent farewell episodes have already delivered unforgettable moments. David Letterman returned for a wildly entertaining segment that reminded audiences of the rebellious spirit that launched The Late Show. Their chemistry was instant, and the appearance served as both comedy and symbolic blessing. Other late-night hosts have also rallied around Colbert. Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver joined him in a rare gathering that celebrated not competition, but camaraderie. The moment underscored the respect Colbert commands across the entertainment industry. Social media reactions have been intense. Fans have shared favorite clips, emotional tributes, and stories about how Colbert helped them through difficult times. Some recalled laughing during moments of national anxiety. Others praised his thoughtful interviews and willingness to engage with complex issues. The recurring theme has been gratitude. Celebrities have echoed those sentiments. Actors, musicians, journalists, and comedians have publicly praised Colbert's intelligence, kindness, and integrity. Many described him as one of the finest interviewers in television history. Part of what made Colbert so effective was his balance of skepticism and compassion. He could challenge powerful figures while remaining respectful. He could satirize absurdity without losing sight of the human beings involved. This combination earned trust from both guests and viewers. The Colbert Questionnaire became a signature feature because it distilled his approach. By asking whimsical questions about sandwiches, smells, and life philosophies, Colbert revealed something genuine about each guest. The segment was funny, but it was also surprisingly insightful. In his final week, one last edition of the questionnaire will serve as a symbolic farewell to a beloved tradition. Fans are already speculating about who will receive the honor and what answers they will give. Looking beyond The Late Show, Colbert's future appears promising. Reports suggest he is exploring film projects, including work related to his long-standing passion for Tolkien. He also remains an influential producer and creative force. Whatever he chooses next, audiences are eager to follow. Yet there is no guarantee that another role will replicate what The Late Show represented. Late-night television occupies a unique space. It is part comedy, part journalism, part variety show, and part nightly ritual. For over 10 years, Colbert mastered that form. His legacy extends far beyond ratings and awards. He demonstrated that intelligence and emotional honesty could thrive in mainstream entertainment. He proved that comedy could be both incisive and humane. He created a platform where celebrities, politicians, scientists, and ordinary heroes could share meaningful stories. As the final week unfolds, each guest appearance will carry layers of significance. Jon Stewart represents Colbert's roots and enduring friendships. Steven Spielberg symbolizes artistic excellence and storytelling. David Byrne embodies creativity and originality. Bruce Springsteen captures emotional resonance and the spirit of America. And the secret guests on the final night may provide one last reminder of how many lives and careers Colbert touched. Viewers can expect laughter, nostalgia, music, and almost certainly tears. Colbert is unlikely to indulge in excessive sentimentality, but he also understands the importance of honoring what this journey meant. His closing monologue may become one of the defining moments of his career. He may reflect on the privilege of speaking to millions each night. He may thank his family, whose support has anchored him throughout his life. He may celebrate his staff and audience, and he may remind viewers, as he has often, that humor and hope remain powerful forces. When the final credits roll, an era will end. The Late Show began in 1993 with David Letterman challenging conventions and reshaping television. Stephen Colbert inherited that legacy and transformed it again for a new generation. Together, they made the Ed Sullivan Theater a place where intelligence, irreverence, and humanity coexisted. For fans, the farewell will be bittersweet. There is sadness in losing a trusted nightly voice, but there is also joy in celebrating everything Colbert accomplished. Few hosts have combined comedic brilliance, emotional depth, and cultural influence so effectively. The final guest lineup confirms that the entertainment world understands the magnitude of this moment. Jon Stewart, Steven Spielberg, David Byrne, and Bruce Springsteen are not simply promotional bookings. They are symbolic companions chosen to help close a historic chapter. And with the final episode still shrouded in secrecy, the possibility of unforgettable surprises remains very real. One thing is certain. On the last night, Stephen Colbert will step onto the stage, sit behind the desk that became synonymous with his voice, and address the audience one final time. The laughter will be loud, the applause will be thunderous, and the emotion will be impossible to ignore. Millions of viewers who have spent years ending their evenings with Colbert will watch as he says goodbye. Some will remember his sharpest jokes. Others will recall his most touching interviews. Many will simply feel grateful that he was there. Television history is about to be made, and the final week of The Late Show promises to be a fitting tribute to one of the most extraordinary hosts of his generation. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.